in the meantime, let me introduce Jason Coleman. Is Jason on the call? Julian Gill and Ted Livingston. I think these guys are all here.
Yeah. How we doing?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, there we go. So, all right. What this is about is this is my proof, and this is just a quick testimonial that you can do it. What we're talking about today, creating value and finding a primary sponsor, is very accessible. You can do it. And I got a call last year, or maybe it was an email, from a racer who I didn't know that asked if I would review his deck. I did. I do it all the time, and usually they're pretty bad. Usually it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over. And that's the reason why I wrote Motorsports Marketing and Sponsorships, was because I got tired of telling people what I think they should be doing differently. So I figured I'd just write it down and send it out. Well, this deck came through and it was really good. It was one of the best I've seen. A couple minor changes, just things that I didn't think were as relevant, but 90% of it was outstanding. And I thought, I think I know a good company who might like this. So I suggested that he forward it over, not use my name because I didn't want to influence and I didn't want to be the guy sending decks to everybody. That happens a lot sometimes. People ask me to forward things and I won't. And I'm going to let Jason Coleman take over from here because Jason is the driver who I now know and his story is amazing.
Thanks, Alex. I appreciate it. Yeah, I read Motorsports Marketing and Sponsorships. Honestly, I'm not a big hard book reader, but I read this thing cover to cover twice, and I just in a matter of a couple of days, and I fell in love with the concepts of just what I was doing wrong. And like you said, I sent you my deck thinking, hey, I think I followed all the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, and thought I had a pretty good setup here. And then just kind of talking through it, I really just wanted your opinion of it. And you gave me those tips, and then we got talking more. And then, the introduction led to talking to Eibach. And it's funny, I love telling the story because I called Eibach. If you're around any kind of sport that has shocks and springs, Eibach is synonymous with the upper echelon of great quality products. And so, I was at a time where I needed to put new springs on my truck. We're headed into the Baja 500, just come off the San Felipe 250 win. And so, feeling good about ourselves. And got the intro and got a call set up with Eibach, and initially just really kind of a cold, distant greeting. I think they, just like many of these guys, get thousands of calls from people, and I just kind of went through my normal spiel as a business owner myself. I understand that, hey, they need to get ROI. They need to have someone who's not just asking for $1 million and say, hey, see you later, I'm going to go race and I'll give you some exposure. So I really try to take these concepts to heart, and I just explained how I feel about going about those ways of doing that. Ask them about their business and what their kind of targets were, and it just so happened that as this conversation went on, they were kind of looking to do something. My truck was purposely unbranded. I had no name on the side of the truck, and frankly, all I was looking for was product. I wanted to get a couple $1,000s worth of product. Most of my sponsor deals have been product and significant size of dollars, but product was easy to get for me and always has been in my career. And this led to all of a sudden, well, hey, there's nothing on the door. And I said, yeah, there's a reason for that. And of course, I'm funding the whole thing myself, and I don't put my big company on there for saying, hey, it's kind of a sponsor me. And it just, the conversation went on, and then all of a sudden it turned to, well, guys, how about, the 500 is coming up. Let's do something. And it led to, all right, let's try this. It's kind of the right time as we're entering this new opportunity and wanted to go a different direction. And we did that, and we set up some deliverables, and went off great. And we had a great time. And then from there, it was just like, all right, well, let's see where this goes. We wanted to continue with the series. There were some series issues with just kind of contractual stuff. So, I instantly turned to, hey, let's look at King of the Hammers. Let's go stateside. This is a great event for activation, much like the Mint 400. I could not make the Mint at the time. And it was, long story short, it was an intro that led to me asking for product and turned into what is now my title sponsorship. And it's been a year that we've been with these guys, and they've been just tremendous. And we just keep kind of adding new things and new ideas and spinning from there. But it was a lot of what I learned out of your book, Alex, and I really took it to heart. And you gave me some backup tips, and the rest is kind of history.
Well, that's cool. Let's ask Ted. Ted, why is the King of the Hammers and the Mint 400 events like that such good proving grounds for endemic brands like Eibach? Just in 60 seconds to 2 minutes, so we don't go over time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the there it's an extremely difficult one-day event, you know. You're gonna hit crazy terrain that you can take springs like Eibach and any other products and really put it to the test. So coming out to Johnson Valley and putting your products to the test, and as racers, it's a wonderful opportunity to meet up with your sponsors that you're connected with, and also come into Hammertown and see the vendors and all the really hundreds of sponsors and vendors that are there. If you need to, I heard it earlier today, is that face-to-face connection. So
Right.
we are happy to host that and glad that it has worked out.
Yeah, excellent. And also events like yours it's a great place to collect content and to create content, because it's you pretty much have a wide open platform where you can film and tell stories. Julian, I'm going to close with you on this little story here, and then we're going to show a video. But from a company's perspective, and ladies and gentlemen, we now have the CEO of Eibach Springs about to tell us what enticed them to this particular team in order to give the Coleman Motorsports a primary. What was it about the package or the team or the approach?
It was a lot of things, really. I mean, it was the perfect star alignment for Jason and for us, because we're coming out of COVID, or we're still in COVID at that point. Excuse me. And we were looking at different ways of attracting customers. And I mean the end consumer. I'm not talking about B2B, I'm talking B2C, and getting our name out. And we could see with COVID that the big indoor shows just weren't working. And when at the point when we were approached by Jason, we were still sitting there, are they going to work? What's the future? Where are we going with all of this? And at that point, we'd already made the decision not to do big indoors. So we're saying, okay, as we're coming out of COVID, a lot of these outdoor events are going to go. And I jokingly said, we ought to do something at King of the Hamlets, but I don't want banners just down the valley. Can we do something? A couple of days later, I get the sales manager and the marketing manager come in with big grins on their face. And that doesn't happen when they both come in my office at the same time. And they sit there and they go, how would you like our name on a bloody great big red truck going around the desert? Okay, that's how many millions is that going to cost me? No. We go through the figures, we do all the add-ons, and we talk about giving away t-shirts, and we're giving out hoodies with doing everything in the red. And it was just seemed perfect. And you don't get that very often. And I'm going to be honest with Jason, I didn't read your deck until a couple of days ago. But I didn't need to, because when both of them come in holding it and saying this is good, and I mean this with respect to a lot of people, we get tons of decks all the time. 90% of them don't make them out of the marketing office. And of that 10% that do, probably only 10% more make it out of the sales office, because we have got to see that return of our investment. And Jason offered us what we felt was a very good thing, because our name was out there with somebody who's doing well at racing. He's a nice guy. His crew are incredibly accommodating to us, prepared to help with us, prepared for customers, the end customer, to come and talk to him in the pits, smiles for the camera, and presentable and wholesome. And I mean, I know that sounds very old-fashioned, but it's what you want. I mean, we're a family brand. We want to be represented by a family racers. And I can't say anything more about, I mean, the video shows how we feel about it, and we still get a lot of likes on it. We've been able to use a lot of content. And as Jason also said, it just started as the King of the Hammers event, but it's rolled on throughout the year. And we're going to be using the vehicle for various shows and various other events, and using the merchandise. It was just that alignment, and that doesn't happen very often. But you go back to where we started, if the deck hadn't been presented properly, it wouldn't have made it out of the marketing department. And that is incredibly important. And as Mark, our marketing manager, said to me, he's offering us stuff rather than taking stuff off us. And that, it was very much a two-way street.
So by the time it got to you, your team had already vetted it, and you knew to trust your team. So you signed off and said, let's do it.
Well, yes. I mean, yeah. I mean, Yeah, you have to trust them if they don't, there's something wrong. But I mean, it's the final budget figure that came out from had to be signed off by myself. But as I say at the very beginning, when both of them are happy about it, because sales and marketing have very different views of what they want to do. But when they both come at you and say this is a good idea, it's very hard to fight it.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I thank all three of you for sharing that story. And I think one of the valuable things about creating content for sponsors is that you can tell a story, and you can tell a story through videos. And what Coleman Motorsports obviously did was create videos. This is one of many videos. It's part of a story of videos, and it's about a little over 10 minutes. So kick back, relax, enjoy the story, and watch what kind of content you can create that adds value to a sponsor. It's not just logo. There's a lot of logos, but it shows the endurance. It shows the brand. It shows the people behind it, and it makes it real. And this is the type of story that sponsors like to be told.